Welcome back to another episode of Business Highlight, a show by the Boca Raton Tribune. I'm your host, Pedro, and in this show, we'll talk all about business professionals and highlight what they do for work. Before we get started, please make sure to follow us on Facebook, share the video, and follow us on YouTube as well. And follow us all on those platforms. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Ben Gonzalez, the director of FAU men's basketball operations. Ben, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Pedro, thanks for having me.
Of course. So for people that don't know who you are, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Ben Gonzalez, as we've said, and so I've been the director of men's basketball operations here at FAU for the past 2.5 years now. So I live here in Deerfield Beach, actually, and it's been a great time being down here.
Awesome. So you've been here, you said, for 2 years. What made you get involved with the FAU basketball program?
Yes, so I've lived in Florida my whole life. I went to school at the University of Florida. And when I was at the University of Florida, when I went to college, I always knew I wanted to work in sports. I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And so I had the opportunity to work with the men's basketball team at the University of Florida. And then while working there, I met Coach May, who's the head coach here at FAU. And I worked with him for 3 years. And when I was graduating, just timing, everything worked out, and I got really blessed with an opportunity. Coach May ended up getting the head job down here at Florida Atlantic University, and he decided to offer me a position to come down here with him. And so it was a no-brainer for me, having no other job opportunities and being able to get a full-time position and to be able to work with someone as great as Coach May. And he brought along some other staff members from Florida who I know and who I consider family. So it's been a great opportunity.
Awesome. So, I mean, I guess for the people that watch, they're probably thinking, so were you always wanted to be doing something in sports? So when you went to school, what did you do in school to prepare you for this position?
Yep. So to be honest, when I first got to the University of Florida, I always thought I wanted to be a college athletic director. I thought that would be really fulfilling. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. And I had the opportunity. My first semester in college, I said, "Hey, I just want to enjoy college. I just want to make friends. I want to get plugged into a church. I want to get kind of settled in." And towards the middle of my first semester of college, I had the opportunity to speak to Jeremy Foley, who at the time was the athletic director at the University of Florida. And I sat down with him, explained, "Hey, I want to be an athletic director like you one day, and what can I do to get there?" And so he he was gracious. I mean, he was great to sit down with, awesome guy. Sat down with him for 30 minutes, and he told me, "Well, you should get plugged into these different areas on campus." And so one of the areas that he offered me to get plugged into was the marketing department. So I applied for a position, became a volunteer marketing assistant for the University of Florida athletics. And I got to do so many things. I got to work basically at every single sporting event on campus, whether it was men's basketball, women's basketball, lacrosse, softball, football game, whatever it was, I was able to work it. And while working there, I really enjoyed it, really enjoyed being part of the college athletics. But I really missed being part of one individual team and going and being with that one team and creating real relationships with those players and the staff. I played sports all throughout high school. And so then is where it started, like, okay, I miss being part of a team. Like, I think I could go into coaching. What could I coach? And basketball was the sport I played, my whole life since I was a little kid. And so I think I could maybe coach basketball. Maybe, like, why not? Why not try it? And so I knew some people who were student managers, and obviously I was never going to be good enough to play. And so I was like, okay, let me try to be a student manager. And so I, just got really blessed with timing and making connections and became a student manager with the men's team and was a student manager for the University of Florida men's basketball team for 3 years before getting the job here.
So now you mentioned this, I kind of want to know, what does a student manager do?
Yeah, so student managers is a little different at every place, but at the University of Florida, so we did a lot of rebounding. So you do a lot of rebounding for the players throughout the day. So that's outside of practice. Then you're there at practice. You do everything from statting to rebounding to helping out in some drills here and there to someone just fell on the floor. You got to wipe it up. I wipe up the sweat with a towel. You're the water boy. You're doing food runs for the coaching staff. You're doing team laundry. for everyone in the entire facility. And then, but there's so many perks too. You get to be with the coaches every single day. You get to be with the team. You get to travel with the team. I mean, some of my best memories from college are traveling with the team and going to places like Portland, Oregon. Like I never would have had the chance going and playing in Madison Square Garden and in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. Just these opportunities that you would never get just being a normal student.
Wow. So again, talking to Ben Gonzalez, the director of FAU's men's basketball operations. Ben, what we talked a little bit about, how you got into the job, but what if you could think of pinpoint one thing, what makes this job such a satisfying one?
It's the people. Without a question, it's the people. The people I work with here on a daily basis, as I kind of mentioned, they're family. So our staff is so close. We work together. We travel together. We work pretty much. Once we start the season, we're pretty much working 7 days a week in the office. And so you get so close, and when you're around people that much, you want to be able to like them. And the staff I'm blessed to work with are all amazing people. I couldn't be more blessed to work with them, from Coach May throughout the rest of the staff. As mentioned, some of them I share an office with Kyle Church, who was my direct boss at the University of Florida. He's the one who hired me, gave me an opportunity at the University of Florida, which then gave me the opportunity here. So the people, without a doubt, and that goes to our student athletes as well, just getting the opportunity to invest in young men and watch them grow and develop over the course of 4 or 5 years, however long we might have them, and not only grow as basketball players, but just grow as human beings.
Yeah.
And watch them progress. That's really the things that get me the most excited about coming to work every day.
That's awesome. So you mentioned coming to work every day. What exactly does the director of operations do for the basketball team?
Yeah, no, it sounds like a cool title. I tell people I'm the director of basketball operations. They're like, whoa, like you have power. I was like, not really. But no, so I do all our travel. So we play in Conference USA. So we travel all the way from to El Paso. Out in Texas. We go up to Huntington, West Virginia. So we cover a wide span. So I do all the hotels, the flights, the buses, most of the food on the road, stuff like that. And then kind of day to day, I do just all our management of our practice schedule, our our lift schedule. Like I need to know where all the guys are at all times, their class schedules, and just basically I help the guys through anything almost unrelated to basketball, but relating to school or anything like, they got to get pictures for marketing or whatever it is. I help them out with that, and then I'm kind of the liaison between our men's basketball program and everything else on campus. So whether that's the marketing department, the operations department on campus, facilities, the other teams on campus, I'm kind of the liaison between all those different programs. And then the other big thing I do, I handle all our budgeting and our expense reporting, and so kind of take care of all that as well.
So you have a big job. You say you don't, but you do.
Well, it's I have my hand in a lot of pieces, which is great. I also get, I'm a member of the coaching staff, so I don't get to go out on the floor and coach players every day. I hope to get there one day, but I do get to be involved with, game planning, and I do get to be involved with the scouting and scouting for recruits and looking at recruit film and stuff like that. So I do a good part of our film too. And that's one of the best parts about Coach May is he takes everyone's opinion on staff seriously, and he values everyone's opinion on staff. And so that's given me so much opportunity to learn and grow under someone like him.
Wow. So I'm gonna ask you a two-folded question. First part of the question is your most fond memory in the basketball world so far throughout your career. And the second one is your favorite FAU basketball memory so far. So I guess we can start with the generic basketball one and then jump into the local FAU.
Yeah. So my favorite basketball memory, and this is close because the moment with FAU is pretty much just as special, just because of the magnitude and what it meant to us in that moment. But so my two favorite moments for basketball total would be at the University of Florida. I had the opportunity to go. We played my second year. We played in the Sweet 16. We're in Madison Square Garden, and we're playing against Wisconsin. And it was a crazy game. We had the lead pretty much the entire second half, and then we kind of gave up the lead towards the end. And then what ended up happening is they hit a buzzer beater to send it to overtime. So the whole team's kind of down. We're just, obviously we lost all momentum. Now we're going to overtime. And we started off overtime kind of flat. Had some bad moments, and we're still battling. It was still close. But then we had a bad turnover. They had a leak out for an easy dunk. One of our players, Kenyon Berry, went and blocked it right at the rim. And so that was an amazing play. Kind of gave us a little bit more momentum. And then we're down by 2 with about 5 seconds left. And Chris Chiozza, who's now playing in the NBA for the Brooklyn Nets, he ends up hitting a buzzer beater floating 3 as time expires to send us to the Elite 8. And that we're in Madison Square Garden. It's the mecca of basketball. Yeah. And so that moment, I mean, that's something I'll never forget. The excitement to be there with the team, and it was just a very special moment. And then for FAU, and like I said, this is might as well be the same thing. Wasn't the same magnitude of a game, but it was our first season here at FAU, and we're on the road playing against UCF. And we started the game down, I think it was 22-4, if I'm remembering correctly. And we're just like, what happened? Like, this is bad. Like, this is our second game of the season, first Division I game of the season, and we're just down. I was like, okay. But our guys kept fighting the entire game, and we ended up coming back, and we won on a buzzer beater. And it's just the moment, the celebration with the team in the locker room there was as special as a moment as I've had, with all the moments of Florida. So that one's right there.
I guess another question I have is, what makes FAU such a special place in these last 2 years that you've been there?
Yep. Yeah. So obviously, like I mentioned, the people. So I don't want to keep beating that path down, but the people by far is what makes it the most special. Obviously, I mean, the school, the university is growing. Just the renovations and the investment that they've made into men's basketball since we've been here has been amazing. And so to know that you're wanted and you're loved and you're cared for here is great. We have a great a leadership with President Kelly and our athletic director, Brian White. And so just to know that they're on our side and that they're growing the university, that there's new dorms almost every year. You feel like you're getting a new dorm here on campus. And It's just been exciting to be a part of a university that's growing. And, there's not much history here, especially in the men's basketball program. And so we're building all the history. And so that's something that's exciting to be a part of. Obviously, the location is amazing. I've lived in Florida my whole life, and it's hard to beat Boca Raton as far as weather and just but quality of life. And so obviously that's been good, and just the university itself. It's a beautiful campus. And so it's been a lot of fun to be able to have this as a first job at a college and to be able to learn so much from so many great people.
Wow. So your season's starting up soon, right?
Yes. Yep. We'll start off November 25th.
Okay. So what do you expect from the team this year?
Yeah. So we have this is our third year at FAU. We have a lot of veterans. We've been blessed to be able to retain a bunch of guys that they graduated and they could have transferred, but it kind of speaks to Coach May and the program that he's building here, that these guys, they wanted to stay and stay with us. These guys are very talented players. And so we're excited. We have some veterans and we're looking forward to the season. Everything's gonna look a little bit different this year with COVID going on, and our conference schedule. We're gonna be playing the two teams. We'll play Thursday, Saturday. We'll play the same teams in the weekend. So everything's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna have to make adjustments between games, and but it's gonna be fun. We're really excited just to get back out there and start playing. The guys always kind of get tired of practicing against each other this time of year, so we're excited to get out there and start playing against other teams. And we don't want to get our expectations too high, but we really enjoy coaching these guys every single day and being with these guys, and we believe in them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna track back a little bit to before you were talking on when you kind of decided to become, like start working in sports. Did you always know from the moment that you joined, like you talked to, you mentioned the athletic director at Florida, from that moment on, did you realize like, hey, I want to coach basketball? Or was that like, did you try out different teams before landing
Yep.
on that one?
I did actually. So along with working with the marketing department, I actually was volunteering with the track and field team at the University of Florida at the time as well, that second semester. And I ran track and field throughout high school, and I really enjoyed like helping out with the track and field team a couple times a day, or a couple times a week. But just it wasn't the same field. Track, there's so many student athletes. There's just, you can be easily missed in track and field if you're just a volunteer. So didn't really feel, especially only doing it a couple times a week, I didn't really feel like I was part of anything. I didn't feel like I was part of a team. And like I kind of mentioned, I played basketball my whole life, and so that was the sport I was always most passionate about from a playing perspective. And and just being able to University of Florida has such a great history of basketball program. And so my first year, Coach Donovan was still there. So the opportunity to maybe work with Coach Donovan was very appealing. And then Coach White got there, and he's who I actually ended up working for 3 years. And I couldn't speak more highly of Coach White, and just being able, I mean, I had no idea going into college. I had no idea there was any positions called student managers. I had no idea what a director of basketball operations was. And so just being there and learning from everyone, kind of that first year of being a student manager, I was like, okay, yeah, I think I would really enjoy coaching. I think I would really enjoy doing this the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so really the 2 years after that, just trying to take it as seriously as possible, learning from every member on that staff, and Coach May included, and just being around those people, and just seeing Coach White and Coach May both do such a great job of creating a family atmosphere. And so when you're a part of a family, it's so special, something to be a part of, especially if you're away from home, or single like me, you don't have your own family. To be a part of that is something so unique that so many people don't necessarily get to feel.
For sure.
And so that's what got me the most excited. Like, yeah, I mean, I love sports. I'm a super competitive person, but being part of something, bigger than yourself is something that's always super exciting to be a part of.
Yeah. So for you, right now you're the director of basketball operations at FAU. What do you see yourself going in the next 5-10 years in your career?
Yeah. So, I mean, my hopes and dreams and goals would to eventually become a Division I head men's basketball coach. And, that's the goal. And, so far so good. So far I'm tracking, but
You're 1-for-1.
yeah. So, I mean, but you never know. You got to start at the bottom, and you got to build your way up. And so, I'm hopefully within the next 5 to 10 years, I would get the opportunity to be an assistant coach at the D1 level. And after that, hopefully, 5, 10, 15 years after that, hopefully get the opportunity to be a head coach at some point. So those are the goals that I have. Does level necessarily super matter? No, maybe I would go down to D2, or maybe I would do D3, or whatever, or maybe it's even high school. I don't know, but to stay D1 and to be a D1 head men's basketball coach is the goal that I have as of today.
That's awesome. So before I let you go, I ask this question to everyone that comes on the show. So it always differs a little bit. So yours is going to be a little bit kind of like you just mentioned. But let's say we got some guys watching this right now, or girls that want to pursue this path in their career. What would be some advice that you would give them if they want to eventually also become like a coach in a sport? I guess in your case, basketball.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to get involved. You got to be willing to do, especially in this sporting world. You got to be willing to do anything just to get a foot in the door. So whether that's wiping up sweat off the floor, being the water boy, being the water girl, being just an energy giver, and you got to find a niche or something that can get you in the door. And then if you want to be in college athletics, you gotta work in college athletics. You got to find a way to either volunteer as if you want to be a director of basketball operations, well volunteer, try to get plugged in as a student manager. Every program across the country has student managers, and so some have one or two student managers, some have up to 16 or 20, I've heard. And so it's really just as much as you put in is what you're going to get out. And if this is something you really want to do, you got to be able to volunteer and work your way up the ladder and soak up and don't be afraid to ask for more. I think that's one thing a lot of people can be scared of sometimes. It's like, okay, like here are my responsibilities. Let me just stay in those responsibilities. Well, right. Start off. Those are your responsibilities. Do them to the best of your ability. Make sure you show up on time every single day. Knock those responsibilities out of the park. And then once you get those responsibilities knotted down and people have respect for you, well, then ask for more. And the more trust you build with a staff, the more they'll be willing to give you different projects. And then the more they give you different projects and can see that, okay, this person's serious about becoming a coach, becoming a director of basketball operations. Maybe you get an opportunity like me where you're around a staff that has success and someone leaves for another job and you're graduating and they take you with them. Or, the coaching industry is so connected. And so, anytime a job opens up, it's, and people have connections with that coach, people just make a phone call and say, hey, Pedro was really, really good for us here at Florida Atlantic University. I highly suggest them for this job. And that's how things kind of open up and how opportunities are made.
Sure. Awesome. Ben, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us about your job today. I think a lot of people are going to find it very, interesting because like me, I don't think a lot of people know exactly what a director of operations did. So now that we know, like, thank you so much for shedding some light on that for us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much, Pedro, for having me, and God bless.
God bless, buddy. That's going to wrap it up for us today at Business Highlight. I hope you enjoyed this episode and it was informative. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to like it and share it. And all those informations are below. You can see it on our overlay right there. Follow us. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us for another episode. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care now.